Good morning. Ooh, let's just make sure that's good. Okay, welcome to Something Saturday. So the other day at class, Rose, one of my downline and class peoples, ladies, whatever you want to call people who come to my classes. So she bought a little box like this, which I thought was really cute, and it uses the new Jar of Joy stamp set. And then this little front piece flaps up and goes, wishing you the sweetest Christmas, and you can put a little sweetie in there. So she didn't have this extra piece in there. I've added that in myself. And this wasn't hers, this was mine. And I completely forgot to take photos of it. So I'm hoping that this is pretty much the same as what she had. So she'd seen it online and she couldn't remember where. So I'm just going to credit Rose with this one. So there you go. Thanks, Rose. I'm going to show you how to make it anyway. So, little piece for inside comes out of iridescent treat bags, which I might actually do something on those next week, so we'll hang off on that for the time being. And I will show you how to create the cute little box. And like I said, I reckon a little Ferrero Rocher or, you know, something like that would sit in there really nicely. And you could have them on your table for like Christmas Day, and you know, everyone gets their own little Ferrero Rocher thingo. So anyway, what you need, I'm gonna swap up the white because this was my sort of like base one that I made first up. So I'm gonna swap it up for a nice Cajun craze, which I had no idea it had an extra piece on it like that. We will make sure that piece gets covered. There's more than one way of doing this. All right, 8 by 8, no, 12, sorry, 12 by 12 centimetres. And then you're going to score it at, I'm pretty sure it was 4 centimetres. Yep, so you're going to third it basically. I'm going to move, so both of those are the two stamp sets that I'm using today, Sweet Jar and Jar of Joy, and they just so happen to have a matching punch. Woohoo! Oh, just started raining. So 4 centimetres. Make sure that you're going to score it and not cut it. The scorer is here. So the scorer is light grey on these ones. And turn it round, score it, turn it round, score, and last time 4 centimetres. And there we have it. So then you have something that, whoops, looks kind of like this. There we go. Ooh, apparently that part didn't get scored properly. So you should have something that has like 9 parts to it now. And we are going to pop the cutter away because we don't need that at the moment, and grab out our scissors, which is kind of heartbreaking that the paper snips, they haven't been able to provide, to find a new supplier for them. So once they are gone, they are gone. I'm sure they will find something else to replace them with. You would kind of hope so, because, you know, scissors are quite an integral part of our crafting experience, really. Okay, so then I reckon I can cover up that little piece there by folding those all in together like that, and they will create our little box for that part. So let's just go ahead, attach that to that, and same thing there, attach that to that, and same thing there. So we got that little box made now. We can pop that to one side, and then we can focus on these pieces for the front. Right, what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to fold this in half. Let's find my bone scorer. well, not half, but I know that I want it so that it's going to be able to stamp that. So let's bring in my little stamping mat, because these are photopolymer stamps. They don't have any cushioning underneath them, so you need to put the cushioning underneath everything else, if that makes sense. And we're going to use, I reckon we're going to use some StazOn, which I have. Oh, it smells so good. Terrible, isn't it? I'm a secret StazOn sniffer. Okay, so ink it up. I have just re-inked this, so I'm hoping that it will be nice and inky. And you want it so that it's going to kind of come off the top a little bit, I think was the way I did it. Did I do it that way? Yeah, I think I did. Yes, I did do it that way, because then I want it to have the fold right on the very top here. So let's just cover up my StazOn. Normally I would flip this over, but I just know how inky I made it, and it was kind of a bit too inky. Oops. So I'm not going to flip it over now. And oh, hopefully I haven't done it too far over. Okay, so this one, unfortunately, you do have to cut it out because it doesn't go through the punch. There you go. Found the word eventually. Because 2 pieces of cardstock is just a bit too thick for the punch. So, equally, it's not exactly hard to cut out. So there we go. We now have that little piece for the front. And, oh, maybe I won't throw the whole of that out, actually. I might use the rest of it. Then I have also gone ahead and stamped on the inside of it too. So this time I'm going to ink it up so that I'm not actually inking this very top piece as well. Hopefully I can do this, because wow, gonna have to redo that. Okay, StazOn dries really fast, so when you're using it, bear that in mind. Excuse my head. Hopefully I've got that in the right place. Not too far off. Oh dear. We'll just cover that bit up with a bit of paper, shall we? All right, then we are going to add in these pieces here. So on the front, I have used this really cute stamp, but I want to show you how I've managed to colour it in the different colours. You can use pens for it, but I tend to find sometimes that the pens leave a line, and I just wanted it to be a little bit more, less liney, if that makes sense. Don't quite know what the word is. More substantial, maybe. So what I've done is I've used these 3 colours. I've got Cherry Cobbler, Crushed Curry and Cajun Craze. So I'm going to open them all up. Ooh, I can get them open and see how many of them I can shove my fingers into in the meantime. And I'm going to start off with the lightest colour. And what I want to do is just add that colour onto it. So you're pressing it on with the dauber here. And I want it on the stars, because I kind of figure that stars are going to be golden. Although in reality, they're more of a silver colour really, aren't they? But never mind, that's fine. We are going with golden coloured stars because I like gold. Then we've got the Cajun Craze, and again we're gonna sort of dabble this on. So you kind of want to press it in fairly hard onto the stamp when you do it this way. And I have to say, if you're using your stamp for the first time, there's a good chance that you're going to find it, doesn't work and it all sort of, the ink just sort of like retracts on itself. So if that's the case, give your stamp a really good scrub off, a good clean, and then you'll find that the ink will work on it. And then we're on to the last cherry cobbler. And I've got to say, apparently my yellow is still retracting the colour on these two. I don't know why. Anyway, right, once you've got it done, huff on it, and excuse my head, stamp it. And there it is. Cool. Where's my cleaner gone to? There it is. So that is on the outside, and then, yep, that's good. The inside, I want some nice wording, so I'm going to go with the cherry cobbler for my wording this time. Excuse my head. Wishing you the sweetest Christmas. Let's just get rid of those two, those three even for the time being, and pop those all to one side. So that's our little one that goes onto the front of our box. I wonder which way round would look better. Actually, you know what, I might go with the ones that I've got all the folds on. I'm going to make the sides because they're nice and strong, and then this can be the front. But before we do that, we also need the lid. So I've actually, let me just show you something. So there are two different, hopefully you can see these all right, two different bottles in here, jars, go with the jars, Heather. And you'll actually notice that the colouring in on the inside of them, or the lines on the inside of them, are slightly different. So I actually prefer this jar. I like the fact that it's got the line along the bottom of it, but I prefer this lid because this lid's kind of boring. So the good thing is I have both of them, so I can mix and match. So I am going to, and I am using the lid from the sweet jar rather than the jar of joy. And seeing as I've used black on that, I'm also going to use black for this lid. There it is. See if I can get some of the stays on off, because it does stay on, but if you clean it off straight away, it's not so bad. Wonder if I cleaned that. No, apparently not. Okay, so then we can use our punch just to grab out the lid. And the other thing you want, because the lid actually extends above the box, is you need to have a way of attaching the lid to the jar underneath. So I have gone with just a little piece of cardstock like this, and attach it under there, and then attach a lid to it. So in fact, probably better off attaching the lid to it first, because then you're not going to end up with extra on the lid. So let's just do that. We're going to pop the lid on. And a little bit more on there. Then the jar on. And now your jar has a lid, which, oh, I don't really want to do that. It can then attach onto the front of this. So I might just go with putting the glue directly onto here, actually. just make sure that that the bottom doesn't extend past, because obviously if it does, then either you're going to have to trim it off or it's going to be a rocking box. Ooh, actually that would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? A rocking box. Thoughts for another time. So there we go, that is the front, and then it's kind of nice to have something on the back as well, because otherwise it's a little bit sad, really. So this time I am going to go with, wonder if that's going to fit. Probably not. No, I'm going to have a streak down the side if I do it with that one. Let's move on to this one here. Okay. So we got that one. And let's pop the lid upside down. There's a reason behind that. I will show you in a minute. Oh dear. Let's give that a quick rub off. Kind of given up hope on the jar itself completely rubbing off, but at least I can rub it off on the lid. And then this time we're going to put this onto the back. So this one I had the little snowman, which I forgot about actually adding snow. It does have a little one for the snow as well there, and I didn't think of that. So not too sure how I would go with stamping that in now. And actually, while I'm here, how cute is it that this little piece here, which has like a little stripe for the hat and the little thing over, it just sits on him, really, really cute. I like that. So yes, there you go. And then we are going to go into adding these ones onto here. What colour am I going to do those in? Ooh, what colour? You know, I'm going to stick to the stays on and colour them in with a pen, I think. There we go. Move that out the way. See whether I can get some of the stays off on that. I do find once you've used it, if you give it a really good scrub with these, that it takes off some of the colour at least. It's not quite as dark. And they need to be coloured in, but I'll quickly show you. So if you do it this way, you can then cut the lid in that direction, and then you can turn it round and cut the jar in this direction. It doesn't really matter about the extra bits that come off, but otherwise you'd have to try and work out to have it exactly right, and you don't want to have to do that. It's a bit of a pain, to be perfectly honest. Let's add another piece of this. And that can be our little piece that goes onto the back. So what am I going to do? Oh, I had a thought. No, forget it. Okay, I'm just going to colour these in. So what I might do actually is I will colour them in and I will put photos up on my blog. I'm pretty sure that you will know what I've done by the time that I've done it. Oh, and I might actually add a bit of bling into these. I think it looks like it needs something extra on it. And you see the difference between the two lids there. So obviously you'll have difference on the back of these ones too. Okay, I think that is it from me. Oh, there is some more stuff in the clearance rack now, just so that you know. So go and check out the clearance rack. I think that is it. Okay, thanks so much for joining me, and come and join me next Saturday. Thanks, bye.